are back live on Facebook. We've been doing a lot of these, and I think they've been so informative. If you're new, if it's your first one with us, my name is Ayla. I am the Marketing and Communications Manager over at Families Empowered. And at Families Empowered, in case you're new to us as well, what we do is we work for families. That's the long and short of it. And what we do is we help you to find the right school that works for your kid and for your family. And typically, if we weren't all stuck at home, we would be helping to connect you with these schools in person. But what we thought we'd do is bring them to you virtually. So we help parents in Austin, Houston, and San Antonio. And we're super excited that tonight we have got some guests from a great school in Austin, Austin Achieve Public Schools. They've got a ton of grades, a ton of fun stuff for kids and for families, and some great programs. So we're excited to chat with them. And if you saw our little secret post, anyone who comments on the live broadcast between now, so the 29th at 6:10 p.m. and tomorrow, the 30th at 6 p.m., will actually be entered to win a gift card to Panera Bread to get a little bit of delivery and maybe get some lunch during the day. So stay tuned. If you've got any questions, throw them out there and you might win. So let's get started. Priscilla, why don't we start with you? Tell us who you are.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. My name is Priscilla Delatorre. I work at Austin Achieve, and I am part of the Family and Community Engagement team. So I focus primarily on outreach and registration process. So information sessions, tours, all of that kind of stuff, getting all families ready for day one.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jessica Herrera. I work on the team with Priscilla. I have been working for Austin Achieve for about a little over 3 years now, time-wise. And I work doing the same thing. So we recruit and register kids for the upcoming school year and also current school year if we have some spots available. We conduct tours and information sessions. Sometimes they're one-on-one and sometimes they're an event. So it just depends.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. So let's launch into it. Let's get started. We'll start with the basics. Tell me a little bit more about the school. Talk to me about the mission and tell me what grade levels you guys offer.
Cool. So our mission is we're a tuition-free open enrollment public charter school serving scholars in East Austin. We offer pre-K 3 all the way up to 12th grade. So our mission is to provide all scholars with a high quality education so that they can succeed in college and in their life.
Awesome. That's fantastic. So talk to me a little bit about what I think is on everybody's minds right now, distance learning. How's that working for students over at Austin Achieve?
Yeah, so distance learning at Austin Achieve kind of varies by grade level. Our campus leadership teams have tailored all of the distance learning programs to fit the needs of our scholars, depending on their age and their grade. So at the elementary school, our little young learners in pre-K through first grade are working through a hybrid program using digital and paper-based learning. And then scholars in second through fourth grade are utilizing district issued laptops that they use to complete daily lessons through Google Classroom. And so teachers have daily touch points with the scholars and the families to ensure that they have the resources and support that they need to be successful with this distance learning. Then at the middle school, the lessons are posted daily in Google Classroom for our scholars to complete at their own pace. So teachers communicate daily with them as well to ensure that they're completing all of their assignments and understanding the activities. And they're available throughout the day for one-on-one support as they need it. And then at the high school, all of our scholars participate in live lessons through Google Hangouts. So in the afternoons, our teachers are available for office hours as a way for our scholars to seek out help on any assignment. And so across all grade levels, we also have an element of social and emotional learning that's included in our weekly programming. And so obviously during these confusing times, we wanted to provide the stability and ensure that our scholars feel good mentally and emotionally.
Wow, that's great. I'd love to hear a little bit more about the daily check-ins. How are teachers reaching the kids? Is it specifically through the platforms like Google Classroom, or are they kind of more open with phone? How are they making those connections?
They're honestly, obviously, these are very uncertain times, so everybody's kind of flexible and understanding. We worked with our families at the beginning of um, of COVID-19 and the shelter in place to ensure that everyone had internet access, so that our families would be able to get in touch with, and our scholars would be able to complete all of their assignments. Um, that were necessary. So it kind of depends on the grade level and the teachers. Everyone's a little bit different, but as to keep it kind of streamlined, everyone has been just kind of sticking to the platform that they're on right now.
Awesome. It sounds like it's super integrated and something you guys kind of handle in classroom too. Was it an easy transition?
I think it went as well as I think we could expect, right? So it was it was all hands on deck at the beginning. Everybody was kind of doing jobs that they normally wouldn't, but at the end of the day, we got all of our scholars their laptops and any packets that they needed within like a week of reaching out. So it went really well.
Fantastic. So I heard you mention a little bit about making sure everyone had all the internet access they needed and the tech that they needed. How else were you guys, and have you guys supported your school community throughout the pandemic?
So during the first week of the school closure, we launched a contactless home delivery system where we provided meals, nutritious meals, and distance learning supplies to all scholars. So far, we've served 125,000 meals and still counting. In the early stage of distance learning, we work to, like Priscilla said, set our families up with internet access. So a couple of our team members made calls to ensure that families knew who to contact when it came to getting that internet installed, and if they weren't able or if they weren't eligible to qualify for that internet access, we provided them with a wireless hotspot. And then each campus has a social work team that has been providing counseling and teletherapy. Um, our special education team has been hosting virtual art meetings as necessary as well.
Fantastic. So tell me a little bit more about the supply packets that you guys delivered. It sounds something we haven't heard from a lot of schools for the distance learning packets in addition to the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been a lot of packets, obviously, with like paper-based learning for the little ones, but we were able to supply everyone with the laptops, their own Google Chromebooks and chargers that we sent out. It was kind of a drive-through, and so everybody came in and grabbed their materials, and and we're able to start the next week, I think.
Fantastic. That's so seamless. So with all of this, are you guys able to actually enroll students now?
We are. We are currently still enrolling for the 2019-20 school year that we're in. We are working to provide our scholars with all of the necessary materials that they need if they should start right away. And we are currently enrolling enrolling for the 2020-21 school year through phone, and everything's through phone registrations. So
Fantastic.
It's been working great for us so far.
So tell me, you guys have a ton of grades available. Are there open seats in every single grade?
We do have wait lists. For the following school year, we have wait lists for pre-K 3 and 6th through 10th grade currently. So pre-K 4 through 5th grade we have available, and 11th and 12th grade we also have seats available, and that's for the next school year. And then similarly for this current school year, we do have some seats available depending on the grade level.
Depending on the grade level. And so who do they need to call? Who do they need to talk to if there's enrollment questions either for this year or next year?
Yeah, so that is actually Jess and I.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. All you need to know. And so they can parents can contact us through a direct phone line. So we can provide you guys with that and our email address as well. I know we're not in the building, but we are still hard at work at home. And so, yeah, if parents have any questions, then feel free to give us a call, and we can I can pop our phone numbers into the chat as well.
Yeah, that would be perfect. So a little comment that we got in the chat, and this is something that we've been hearing talking to other schools as well, is parents are worried that there may be a resurgence once we get back in the classroom, once we get back to school after this summer that feels like it's going to take forever. What is there a plan in place for that for you guys? And are you prepared?
I think we're kind of gauging everything by ear, and as updates come in, continuously changing protocol. So there's nothing set in stone yet, but all of our facilities departments are working diligently to keep our building clean and to make sure that anyone that is on campus is adhering to all of the safety measures that need to be in place.
Awesome. So, my next question kind of has to do with both your distance learning that we're doing right now and how school is going to look when we do finally get back in the classroom and finally get back in the building. I want to hear about all your extracurriculars because I have actually been lucky enough to be out at a couple of your campuses. And so I've been able to see some of your awesome stuff, and I want to hear more about it.
So we have art, music, coding, and multimedia. So our academic program is based on a whole child approach to learning. So a typical day for a scholar across all grade levels will include their core academic classes, which are math, science, art, and social studies. And then those extracurriculars that I mentioned, art, music. They also do physical activity and then social and emotional learning lessons. So they'll have what's called circles, where they have discussions about different things that are going on and how to deal with them in an emotionally intelligent way.
And so I just want to remind everyone, anyone who comments will be entered to win a $25 gift card. So if you've got questions, if you're starting to think of stuff, feel free to throw it out there. You've got until tomorrow at 6, so the 30th at 6. But throw them out there. We're happy to take them. Other than that, that's my dog. That's fantastic. Tell me a little bit about how these extracurriculars are functioning for distance learning. How are we still doing art?
So everybody's kind of doing different things, obviously with the clubs and everything, and teachers are reaching out and they've started doing virtual, similar to the live stream that they do for classrooms and stuff like that. They'll have a time when they can log in and have art club or writing club and still continue those extracurricular activities throughout this pandemic, obviously, that we're having.
Yeah, it's something new and different for everyone. So I think we're all pivoting. It's great to hear that you guys have been able to pivot so quickly. So let's move a little bit into the realm of back in the school, back in the building. What does a typical day in school look like for the kids?
Yeah, so our academic program is based on a whole child approach to learning. So across all grade levels, we'll include core academic classes like math and science, language arts, and social studies. And then we'll also have specials or extracurriculars like art, music, multimedia, and coding. And then we'll have PE at all levels. And then we'll have sports in middle school and high school. And we'll also have incorporated a social emotional learning component into the lessons. And so we have a really big emphasis on literacy, and we start that in pre-K and all the way through 12th grade. And then we have a math forward curriculum. So all of our eighth graders actually take Algebra 1, which typically isn't taken until they get to high school. And then all of our scholars also complete a sequence of computer science that they start in kindergarten. And then high school scholars that participate in college seminar, and those they have college seminar that they take starting in ninth grade. So it's a 4-year course, and that's to prepare them to succeed in college. And so they have ACT prep, financial aid help, we help with the application process, college visits, and career applications or explorations.
Wow, that's a lot. And it's a lot of grades too. We've got pre-K all the way through 12th. Let's set the stage a little bit for parents on how the campuses are structured, what they look like, where each individual grade goes, because I know they're not all in the same building.
Yeah.
So our elementary school building holds pre-K 3 all the way up to 4th. And it is on the corner of 183 and 290, along with our high school campus that has 9th and 12th grade. Our middle school campus is a little different. It includes 5th grade, so it's 5th through 8th. And it's on Manor Road, which is about 7 minutes from the other campus. So they're not too far from each other, but they are like across each other from the highway.
Yeah, so convenient for parents who've got kids in both.
Mm-hmm.
And so transportation, do you guys offer transportation?
Yes. We provide free transportation to all of our families. The only children that cannot use the transportation are pre-K scholars, and that's just because they're too small. But they can start once they hit kindergarten. And we have different stops around the city of Austin. So what we'll do during registrations is we'll see which bus stop is the closest to their address, and try to get them there, and just figure out what is the most convenient stop for parents to pick up and drop off. We make sure that we let parents know that Monday through Thursday schedules are longer, and then on Fridays they're a little bit earlier so they can anticipate to pick them up a little earlier.
Okay. What about before and after school? How early is there stuff for kids? How early can they get to school? And then are there after school programs for parents that need that?
Yeah, so we have our typical school day for elementary school starts 7:15 to 7:30. And our doors open at 7 a.m. So typically we'll start seeing scholars right at that time, and the front office will go ahead and let them in. And then they get out for elementary school at 3:20, and then on Fridays 1:20. And depending on the day of the week, obviously we'll have extracurricular activities, clubs, and things like that. So there is an opportunity for them to stay after school. We also partner with Extendicare, and so we have that on site, and they're available from dismissal time until 6:30 p.m.
Okay.
And that's for the elementary school. And then for middle and high school, their schedule is a bit different. So they start between 8:15 and 8:30, and their school day ends at 4:30, 5 o'clock. And then again, early release on Fridays, so between 2:30 and 3 o'clock for them. And with them, as we had mentioned, we have extracurricular activities and their sports. So there's definitely opportunities for them to stay on campus at the end of the day as well.
Yeah, fantastic. So, Jessica, you mentioned that during registration, that's when you guys figure out transportation and things like that for parents. What is the registration process like overall? What all does a parent need to have to enroll and register?
Well, the first step is filling out an application. The application is available on the Austin Achieve website. Once an application is filled out, within 24 to 48 hours, parents will receive a text message or a phone call letting them know what the status of their application is. And if they receive an offer and they accept it, then that's when the registration process starts. So right now, our mobile registrations are all over the phone. So we have appointments set up with parents where we give them a call at a certain time, and then we have them have paperwork on hand, which are birth certificate, um, immunization record, parent ID, social security card if children have one, um, proof of address, and any additional documentation depending on the grade. Um, and then we use that information to put it into the registration form that we're using, and that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah, so pretty straightforward, pretty easy as long as you've got everything on hand. And it sounds like you guys are pretty clear with parents on what all they're going to need once we get to that stage.
Mhm.
So that's fantastic. It looks like we had a question come in from a family that was passed on to us from another team member. Is the extended care an extra cost for parents?
It is. So Extended Care works directly with you. So they have their own application and their own registration process. It's not as extensive as enrolling for school, but they do have their own process. And then sometimes they'll have wait lists for Extended Care, and they'll work with your income as well in providing discounts or anything like that. So they're really eager to help families ensure that they have after school care as well.
Yeah, that's great. And then just one more follow-up question. Jessica, you mentioned proof of address. You guys are a charter school, so you don't have district boundaries. So that's not something parents have to worry about. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Cool. Yeah, that's a big question. I know we get a lot of families empowered. I'm sure you guys get it too.
Yeah, any parent can apply. We have some families that live in Elgin, some live in Manor, Dale, like pretty far. They make the drive. So if you want to apply and join our family, we we encourage it. We're excited. Please.
Yeah, awesome. So, for everyone joining the Austin G family, another big part of school and the school community is how parents are communicated with and how they, and how families are really feel like a part of the community. What does you guys' relationship look like with your parents, with your families, and with the kiddos?
Yeah, so our relationship with our parents is, well, one of our pillars is parents as partners. So our parents play a really essential role in their child's education, and we really want to have um, a strong partnership with them to ensure that their child succeeds academically. And each campus has a parent group, and throughout the year, we'll host a variety of different parent engagement events to help strengthen the relationships within our school community. So those parent groups that are at each campus, sometimes we enlist their help as well in our information sessions and our tours. Having them join is really great in creating those relationships with prospective parents as well. It really allows them that space to ask questions and really get to know what the day to day looks like at Austin G.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So, in this whole crazy distance learning sphere that we live in right now, how are you guys continuing that communication and that relationship with parents while they're at home and they've sort of become, de facto teachers' aides?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say. Um, my little brother attends Austin Achieve, and so one of the things that I've noticed his teacher does is like she calls him every day and makes sure that he's like um, doing his work, like FaceTime. Like they have to receive pictures and take pictures with their work, and if they have any questions or parents aren't knowing how to explain a certain activity or how to get it completed, parents are encouraged to reach out to teachers because they're there to help as much as they can. As much as they can possibly do through the phone or through the computer. We also will have multiple teachers that can speak Spanish and translate. So some of our campus leadership teams have principals that can definitely translate and help with stuff like that.
Yeah, that's great to know. In fact, that's one of the questions that we've actually received over the phone. Spanish speaking parents, so they can call and they can get that sort of Spanish side of support as well with you guys. That's awesome. So another question that we got in that I'm looking at right now, again from our phone lines, is tech questions. If parents or kids have tech questions, something goes glitchy, something's not working, do they know who to talk to? How do they go through those channels to get that corrected so they can get back to learning?
Yeah, so our parents, our IT department has been great through all of this. They are really the MVPs right now because they got all these computers and charged out to all the kids, and they're able to answer any questions that parents have. So parents might call the front office and let them know that they need help with a computer issue. And so we'll get our IT department on it right away. They also have office hours where a student can contact them directly and they can try to work it out. If someone's internet goes out and all of a sudden they need hotspots, then we're able to deliver those as well. So everyone's kind of working in tandem and very closely to ensure that any of those technical glitches are resolved as quickly as they can be.
That's awesome. So I heard somebody mention sports. I want to know more about the sports that are available to kids. I know y'all have a big field at one of the campuses, so I do want to talk about that.
Yes.
So we offer basketball, football, soccer, volleyball, track, and cheerleading. I know girls and guys can play football and do cheerleading, so I think that's really fun and diverse.
That is fun, and that's a lot. That's a lot of sport extras to offer. So I love that that's available. What grades does that start in?
I believe they start in middle school.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think seventh grade is the organized sports. They can start organized sports in seventh grade. And our middle and high school share the football field that's out on our high school campus. So everyone's very excited that the middle school gets to come over and play on that field as well.
Yeah, that's fun. So you guys have talked a little bit about the social emotional learning. Can you guys give us a little bit more insight on that and just expand on it a little bit? What does it really look like for students in the classroom at the different grade levels?
Yeah, so obviously it's going to vary between elementary, middle, and high school. So they have high school. It's kind of more like a reflection. So they'll be pulled out of the class, and we'll have staff members that are part of our restorative justice program, and they'll work closely with them to kind of essentially everybody's trying to get down to the root of the problem, right? You don't want anything swept under the rug or anything. So communication is key in building and continuing to build those relationships between the student and the teacher, and not just the student and the teacher, but also with the parent as well. So it'll kind of, in high school, they'll do restorative justice and then be integrated back into the classroom. All meanwhile, they're not losing out on any of their academic schoolwork. So that's kind of similar to how the middle school would approach it as well. At the elementary school, on campus, we have their peace corners, I think they call them. And so they'll go and continue doing work, and then the teacher will come over and have a chat with them, and then they'll come back and join the rest of the group. So just again, the communication is key to all of this.
Yeah, definitely.
They also started doing this. I'm not sure if it was an activity or a program, but it's called Worry Woos. So what teachers would do is they would read a book about a monster of emotion. Like for example, the monster of envy. And they would pass around a plush that looks exactly like that monster in the classroom so that kids had something tangible. And so when the teachers are reading that book, they're really pointing out like, you know, this monster makes this person feel this way. Like, have you ever felt this way? It's kind of like trying to get them to recognize what emotions are because children can't really pinpoint their emotions. Like,
Yeah.
and so as a part of that social and emotional learning component, getting them more recognized with what emotions are, um, I think is really cool to see at such a young age.
Yeah, yeah, that's so interesting and that's so important too for all kids of all grades. So it's great that it goes all the way up. So another question that we've received from parents in the over these past few days as we've been talking to them about, what do you need to know? What do you want to know? Is special ed. How are you guys handling that with the distance learning right now? And also how does that translate in classroom? What does that look like for kids?
Yeah, so our special education department has been continuing their communications with all of their students. And so they will have, they're continuing to host Zoom ARD meetings or for 504 plans, anything like that. Everything has been catered to that student's individual plan, and they're continuing to receive services. Um, and their paraprofessionals are reaching out to students to check in on them and make sure that they're doing okay on a continuation basis.
Yeah, that's great to know they've got those touch points. In the classroom, what does it look like for kiddos? Is it do they have a second teacher in the room?
It'll depend on what their 504 or their ARD plan entails. So there are definitely kids that have a paraprofessional that's in there with them in the classroom, or some will be pulled out of the classroom for a group activity or something like that, or or the paraprofessional will come in and just check on them every once in a while. And then with things like a 504 plan, that's usually like they'll have extra time on a test, or they'll be taking a test outside of the classroom instead of inside of the classroom because they might get distracted or something like that. So it varies, but everything is tailored to the specific student and their individual needs.
Yeah, fantastic. Before we wrap up, I just want to get a little bit more insight from y'all's perspective. What has it been like for you at Austin Achieve? Are you got any special stories with the kiddos, with your fellow staff members? I'd love to hear more about your perspective.
Yeah, it's been kind of great to see, not just at Austin Achieve, but everyone, right, has been so open to community and being together and reaching out and making sure that we're all okay. But it's also amazing to see, parents sending pictures, like Jess was saying, of their kiddos doing work or on a Zoom meeting or something like that. And it's really amazing to see the continuation that they love to keep learning, right? And that they're still, I mean, it's a difficult time, but everyone's coping in the best way that we can.
Yeah, I completely agree. I've noticed that on some of my calls, parents have been very, very kind and patient, just because sometimes we'll receive a lot of calls, and so we won't be able to call people back like that day or within like the next day. Um, and they just are so understanding, and it's it's awesome to be able to, you know, have a conversation like that without even seeing them, right? Because some of these families, like, we haven't met them yet. We have only heard their voice. So it's different, but it's I like it. It's fun.
Yeah. Great. So before we go, also remind us one more time, how we can enroll, who we talk to, and what grades are actually available.
Yeah, so you can enroll by applying on our website, and that's austinachieve.org. If you need help with internet access or need help filling out the form, then Jess and I are readily available. So you can call either one of us. And my phone number is 512-234-0142. And Jess's is 512-568-0969.
Fantastic. I love that. So again, I'm Ayla and we're with Families Empowered. It's been so great to talk to you guys, to hear a little bit more about the school. Really interesting stuff. I love hearing how, you're keeping communication open even during distance learning because it's so tough. And just all of the tech that you've helped connect parents with, the hotspots, the IT people, all of that. I think it's so good for parents. So of course, we at Families Empowered work in Austin and with Austin families, and we've actually got a COVID-19 resources page that's available to families, and it's got resources all the way from like meals to free and low-cost healthcare and everything in between. So if anybody watching or anybody in you guys' school community needs that kind of support, they can find it at familiesempowered.org/COVID-19-resources. And then, of course, we talk to parents all day, every day, and we're here to help all day, every day with finding schools and any other sort of resources that you need, figuring out what questions to ask, how to get in touch with people like Priscilla and Jessica here at Austin Achieve. And you guys can call us anytime at 512-580-4046. And it's been super great talking to everyone. I want to remind everyone one more time, all you have to do is comment on this video by 6 p.m. tomorrow, and that's the 30th. And you'll be entered to win a $25 Panera Bread gift card. So thank you, ladies, so much. It's been so fun.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank
Stay
you so
safe,
much.
everybody.
Good night.
Bye, have a good one.